These are Athlon Midas. These are their smallest, most lightweight binoculars featuring their UHD extra low dispersion glass. So let's take a closer look. Let me start with a quick unboxing, and then let's just see the contents of the box. These are Athlon Midas 10 power travel binoculars. They are only about 4.5 inches long and only about 2.5 inches wide when fully folded. They feature 25mm objective lenses that utilizes a back 4 prism and Athlon's UHD glass coatings, which is their ultra low dispersion glass. And they get this lightweight and compact size at only about a half a pound in total weight. It uses a magnesium alloy chassis with some plastic on the bridge here. Sounds a little bit hollow, but it's pretty solid. There's no flex I can feel. So despite having a little bit of a plastic top, it's actually pretty well constructed. You can see that it has, or feel a little bit of a rubberized coating where the bridge meets the tube, so that gives you a little bit more grip. And we have loops on each of the tubes for the included neck strap that comes with it. Our diopter is on the right. That turns smoothly. And it has built-in twist-up eye cups on each of the tubes. And they are rubberized as well. Now, our focus knob is on the front, and turning that turns smoothly. But let me see here. Yeah, I don't see any place. There's no hidden cap underneath that focus knob, and there's no tripod socket that I could find on here. Then again, it's not really, I mean, it's super lightweight, super compact, so it's really meant to be handheld. It doesn't have a lot of weight at about a half a pound. So yeah, you probably don't need to mount this on a tripod, though. To be fair, I would have been nice if they would have added a tripod socket onto the back, perhaps. Just as an option for those who are doing some long time glassing with this, perhaps if you're birding or whatnot. But overall, lightweight enough that it shouldn't cause you any fatigue to hold this for a long time. And the best part of it is super compact and lightweight, that you could just drop this into your pocket. So even if you're not using this as your primary optic when you're glassing, you can easily carry this in a coat pocket or even your pants pocket as a backup pair of binoculars. And I like to have a pair of backup binoculars in my car, so these would easily fit into your center console or even your side door pocket on your vehicle. But also these are great for traveling because, again, they're lightweight and they stow away very easily. But of course, all of these features are great, but the important thing is, how does it look like through the glass? So we're going to take it outdoors and give that a test next. Let's see if we can find any wildlife to look at. The top of this pine tree is about 60 feet above me, but I don't see any squirrels or birds in there. And looking over to our right, there's a tree stump which is about 30-40 feet away. And looking along this ridge, and we found a bird. Now it kind of looks like a sparrow, maybe a little bit bigger than a sparrow. I had to look this up, and I think it's a house finch based on the slightly red colorization on its head feathers, which the males apparently have. But I'm not a birder. If you happen to know and be able to correctly identify this bird, please leave me a comment and let us all know. What I can say for certain is the view through these binoculars is very clear and feels very color accurate. And the view you're seeing here with the camera actually feels a little bit wider and further away from the birds, probably owing to the lenses in the camera itself and how they interact with the lenses in the binocular. Here you can clearly see the reddish tint on the heads of these birds. I believe you've gotten a sense of how well these binoculars work in brightly lit daylight conditions, so let's take these binoculars out to the range and take a look at some reference targets from 100 yards away. We are looking through the Athlon Midas 10 Power at our reference targets downrange at 100 yards, and there's almost no chromatic aberration. You see it in the camera a little bit around the edges of the high contrast areas like the target frames, especially around the outer edges, but you're seeing far less of it through your naked eye because cameras have their own lenses and impart its own chromatic aberration. But since we can't really make out too many details in the reference target from this distance, let's move a little bit closer. Alright, we're looking at the same reference target board, but now at 50 yards, and you can see far more detail. You can even see the texturing of the bullet hits on the steel backstop behind that paper target. Now, any chromatic aberration you're seeing here, especially around the outer frames on either side of the reference target in the center, that's really more in the camera than with my naked eye. What we can't see of the reference target here is very vibrant colors. You can see that in the color chart on the top left, and to the right of that, you can see the individual lines of the grid target. Now, below those, on the bottom left, you can see the paper target there. We can make out individual hits on the reactive sticker target, but also two tiny 22 caliber holes below that reactive sticker target are visible. Now, moving over to the Air Force optical resolution chart on the bottom right, I can make out both horizontal and vertical lines down to element 4 or even 5 in group -1. Thanks for sticking around till the end of this video, and if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell buttons right now. Just takes a second. It's absolutely free, so I appreciate you taking a moment to do that. And I'd also like to thank Athlon for sending out their newest Midas folding binoculars for me to test out, and these are super compact and lightweight. Now, Athlon does also make full-size Midas binoculars, with larger objective lenses, and of course, in terms of raw performance, those are going to perform better. They have a much bigger objective, much more light gathering capability, so in low light twilight conditions, these are not going to compare. But these are still excellent binoculars for the size, for really any binocular, especially the exit pupil isn't bad on these. Usually with like opera style or really super compact folding binoculars, it feels like you're looking through two pinpricks. These actually look pretty decent, and these make up great backup binoculars. No matter how good a pair of binoculars are, well, these ones have the advantage of you could just have them with you at all times. Easy enough to fit, not just in a gear bag or range bag, but you could just fit this into your pocket, whether it's a coat pocket or just your shirt pocket or your pants pocket. Have you ever been somewhere that you did have a really nice pair of binoculars, but you left them in the car or whatever? These have an advantage of just having them with you all the time. Let me know in the comments if you've ever brought had your really good pair of binoculars but forgot it for whatever reason. Let me know what that story is. Leave me a comment about that. But if you're interested in picking up a pair of these, well, I've included product links as well as more information in my full written review at moondogindustries.com, and you'll find a link to that article in this video's description. So check out that article, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. God bless. Moondog out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.